What up? You got the original Lone Wolf coming at you with a quick little video. I'm not going to be too long. I just wanted to point something out. I hadn't did a screen share in a while. So I thought I would come on here and point this out. Shout out to the sister Mimi. You all may know her as Deborah, but she was one of the people that actually brought this to my attention, and I just thought that this was worthy of being talked about. This is according to House Congress Resolution 331. It said a concurrent resolution to acknowledge the contribution of the Iroquois Confederacy of Nations to the development of the United States Constitution and to reaffirm the continuing government-to-government relationship between Indian tribes and the United States established in the Constitution. Now, what I find so funny about that part is that they're not a government; they're actually a corporation. Right now, in order to force them into dealing with you on a government-to-government basis, the only way that they could deal with you on that level is to return back to you or to us what belongs to us. All right. Now, if you ask me, I believe that was one of the reasons for why they, how can I put it? I guess basically you could say they pulled in a coup d'etat with the 1871 Organic Act. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it says, whereas the original framers of the Constitution, including most notably George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, are known to have greatly admired the concept of the Six Nations of Iroquois Confederacy. And now there's been a lot of stuff that's been coming out, and the brother Jim Red Wolf has touched on it a great deal about these guys being melanated people. These were not so-called pale-skinned people, and they damn sure didn't look like these fucking pictures and shit that they, that you can find of like George Washington and everything like that. And you know that there has to be some validity to it based off of Abraham Lincoln. Not only is his face on the penny, and what color is the penny, but then, it's also been well known that he was a mulatto, right? So it says, whereas the Confederation of the original 13 colonies, which were penal colonies, by the way, I had to learn that shit. Like, man, the shit is deep. And matter of fact, I might, matter of fact, just for kicks and giggles, let me do this real quick. Let me go back, because I thought the penal colony shit was very interesting. But real quick, penal colony. Because I did a quick Google search. Oh man, let me see. How did I put that in there? Did I say definition of meaning or something? Because they talk to you about, oh man, I can't remember where the fuck I saw this. But they were talking about how the British came here and they were prisoners. Oh man, I might have to say that for another time. But anyway, let's get back to House Congress Resolution 331. So it goes, whereas the Confederation of the original 13 colonies into one republic was influenced by the political system development by the Iroquois Confederacy, and as were many of the democratic principles which were incorporated into the Constitution itself. And whereas since the formation of the United States, now keep in mind, Jim Red will tell you that we wrote the Constitution, and particularly the Bill of Rights. He talk about that shit all the time, right? So it says, whereas since the formation of the United States, the Congress have recognized the sovereign status of Indian tribes, okay, and has, through the exercise of power reserved to the federal government in the Commerce Clause of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, dealt with Indian tribes on a government-to-government basis. And this is the reason for why it was so important to get us to call ourselves something other than the original people of this land, so they could stop dealing with us on a government-to-government basis. Now they deal with American Indians because they don't know who they are. They deal with them on a corporate-to-corporate basis, right? So now, it says Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 dealt with Indian tribes on a government-to-government basis and has, through the treaty clause, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2, entered into 3 273 treaties with Indian tribal nations, which they broke all of them, right? But it says, whereas from the first treaty entered into with an Indian nation, the treaty with the Delaware Indians of September 1778, that wasn't the first treaty. But anyway, the Congress has assumed a trust, responsibility, and obligation to Indian tribes and their members. Whereas this trust responsibility calls for Congress to exercise the utmost good faith in dealings with Indians, as provided for the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. Whereas the judicial system of the United States has consistently recognized and reaffirmed the special relationship, now therefore be it resolved by the House Representative, the Senate occurring, that the Congress, on the occasions of the 200th anniversary of signing the United States Constitution, acknowledges the contribution made by the Iroquois Confederacy and the Indian nations to, notice they don't say native, right? And I'm pointing that out because you see when this shit was signed, it say in the Senate of the United States, October 5th, 1988, received and referred to select committee on Indian Affairs. If I'm not mistaken, and then it says October 21st, 1988. If I'm not mistaken, Ronald Reagan was the president, but I'm gonna leave that alone. It goes on to say that acknowledges the contributions made by the Iroquois Confederacy and the Indian nations to the information and the development of the United States. The Congress also hereby reaffirms the continual recognized government-to-government relationship with Indian tribes, which has been the cornerstone of nation's official Indian policy. The Congress specifically acknowledges and reaffirms the trust, responsibility, and obligation of the United States government to Indian tribes, according to Alaskan natives, for their preservation, protection, and enhancement, including the provision of health, education, social, and economic assistance programs as necessary, and include the duty to assist tribes in their performance of governmental responsibilities to provide for the social and economical well-being of their members and to provide tribal cultural identity and heritage. The Congress has acknowledged the need to exercise the utmost good faith in upholding its treaties with the various tribes as the tribes understood them to be, and the duty of a great nation to uphold its legal and moral obligation for the benefit of all citizens, so that they are their posterity may also continue to enjoy the rights they have. And notice it say rights, and don't say shit about privileges. They have enshrined in the United States Constitution for time immemorial. Passed in the House of Representatives on October 4th, 1988. These people know who we are, guys. Right? They know exactly who we are. Based off this, what I just read to you, which is only 3 pages long, it should not be hard for people to understand what it is that they did to us. They did the shit that they did to us, that they're still doing to us, so they don't have to honor this. And this is the stuff that people need to understand. Now let's go back to something I was looking at before I actually started doing the video, which is this Alex Haley fucker. Let's read the Washington Post's joint. It says Alex Haley agreed to pay Becerra, Maryland author, $500,000 today and publicly expressed regret that portions of a 1967 novel called The African have found their way into Haley's best-selling book, Roots. The out-of-court settlement came in a copyright infringement suit brought by Harold Kurlander of Bethesda in United States District Court here. Haley testified last month that although he had not read The African before writing Roots, 3 brief passages from Kurlander's work have been inadvertently incorporated into Haley's work. They got a lot of misspelled words in here. Haley said this occurred because he helped to support himself by lecturing during the 12 years he worked on Roots, and often members of the audience would pass him slips of paper with suggestions. He said he dumped these in a cartoon and used some of them without knowing their sources. Wow, because that's what good authors and investigative journalists do. They just take shit and use it without quantifying it. Yeah, sure, Mr. Haley, that's what the fuck you did. Right. I mean, excuse me, that's what the flip you did. Corlander's suit cited 81 mostly brief passages allegedly similar to his novel and asked for half the profits from Roots. Haley's lawyer and publisher declined to estimate his earnings from Roots, but his royalties had topped 2.6 million on hardcover sales before the paperback appeared. Damn. Wow. And he probably made more off the paperback because paperbacks are typically more cheaper than a hardcover, which would mean more people would buy the paperback. Wow. Courtroom sources placed the amount of settlement at approximately $500,000. Haley spent the afternoon on an airplane and could not be reached for comment. Corlander refused to reveal the amount of citing and a pledge of secrecy made by both sides as part of the settlement. Wow. Wow. Did you hear? I got to read that again. I got to read that again. Courtroom sources placed the amount of the settlement at approximately $500,000. Haley spent the morning on an airplane and could not be reached for comment. Corlander refused to reveal the amount, citing a pledge of secrecy made by both sides as part of the settlement. So you know what that means, right? Let the lone wolf tell y'all what that means. The whole goddamn Root shit was fabricated. Right? So it's like, okay, Mr. Corlander, yeah, we know he screwed you. He plagiarized your shit. But this is what we got to do. We got to keep this shit on the low, right? So now, here it is. They're saying, well, he got $500,000, right? I bet money he got more than that. I bet money the $500,000 was just the surface amount of money. They gave him more money under the table to keep his fucking mouth shut. I'm trying to deal with my profanity, but I'm willing to bet you money they gave him more money under the table to keep his mouth closed about just how much of that book he plagiarized. I'm willing to bet you any amount of money, 70 to 80% of that book, Roots, come from this Corlander guy's The African book. I bet money. Because otherwise, why would there be a need to pledge secrecy on both sides? Why would there be a need to do that? Now, mind you, it say both sides, but up here at the top where you was reading, it says, what it say? No, I don't want this. Get out of there. It says, hold on. Because it says something about he didn't know. It says Alice Haley agreed to pay Bethesda, Maryland author $500,000 today and publicly expressed regret that the portions of the 1967 novel called The African have found their way into Haley's best-selling book. It says Haley testified last month that although he had not read The African before writing Roots, 3 brief passages from Corlander's work have been inadvertently incorporated into to Haley's work. So it's like if it's saying here that 3 short passages was put into the Roots book from Corlander, right? But then when you go down here, it tell you that they cited a pledge of secrecy made by both sides as part of the settlement to not to reveal the amount, the total amount of what he used from that book. Why would you need to do that? If he only used 3 brief passages, then why is there what's up with the secrecy? You see what I'm saying? It's a Roots won the Pulitzer Prize and was a successful television series. Haley flew to Los Angeles immediately after today's settlement to tape a preview from a second ABC TV ministry based on his second book about his roots. His lawyer said Haley was paid $1 million for a second series, ABC officials have said. It's a Corlander 70 who has written about 30 books, earned $14,000 when The African was first published and another $14,000 after it was republished following the success of Roots. Wow. Before the defense presented its case, U.S. District Court Judge Robert Ward spent 3 days conferring with both sides, urging them to settle. He suggested a dollar figure at the time that a lawyer from Haley's publisher, Doubleday, said was so large it would have the effect of saying to the Doubleday the Roots was copied substantially from the African. And I'm willing to bet it was. It was not no 3 brief paragraphs. I'm willing to bet money that's bullshit. Right? So I just wanted to get on here, man, real quick and point this out to y'all. I hope you guys are having a good day. Like how I told y'all, you know, don't give these people the time of day. Don't let these people breathe. Don't give them an inch. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I just hope everybody is really starting to come around to, you know, what's going on today in society, man. You know, everything is falling apart. Like I told y'all in the video I did the other day, you know, why is not the IRS, why is the Washington, D.C. a ghost town? You know, like I was telling y'all, the IRS main headquarters on Constitution Avenue, where I sent my letter of revocation to, they're supposed to be operating out of Utah now, right? Now, and I'm not talking about the IRS offices that are already in the state of Utah. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm hearing chatter that the IRS corporate headquarters, which is 1111 Constitutional Avenue, Washington, D.C., right? I heard they're no longer operating out of there. They moved to Utah, right? So everything is crumbling. Everything is falling down around them in the whole 9 yards. Like I told y'all, I've been on this discharging debt tip real hard. I have not got some of the results that I want yet, but then again, I'm still working on it. You know what I'm saying? The verdict is not in yet, which is the reason for why I have not shared, well, I guess you could say my story or my success or what has happened to me in the process of me discharging debt. I haven't shared that with you all yet because, like I said, the verdict is not in yet. You know what I'm saying? People who know me know I don't like to put out shit until I've had some sort of success, some sort of experience, or, you know, what have you. That way, if people come back to me and they have questions, I can answer it. You know what I'm saying? But I can't answer those questions if I just throw this shit out there and I haven't tested the waters yet. You know what I'm saying? Which is why it took me a while to do the video about the prepaid mail. I had heard about the prepaid mail way before I put the video out. I had been looking into it and this, that, and the other. I had not executed it yet. You feel me? I had not executed it yet, so there was no need for me to put out a video about the prepaid mail because it's like, okay, what if people have questions and shit? What the fuck am I supposed to tell them? You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't until I started sending mail prepaid, you know, certified mail. Then I'm like, okay, now I got the proof and, you know what I'm saying, I got the receipts so I can go ahead and do the video. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason for why I haven't really been on here sharing a great deal of information in regards to discharging debt as of yet. So to be aware is to be alive, man. I love y'all. I hope that, you know, you all are really, really, you know, building up the confidence and the courage to get up and stand up and do what needs to be done. That's the only way to fix this, man. You know, y'all, like I say, y'all see everything is falling apart. It's falling apart for everybody. You know what I'm saying? The people in Washington, D.C. can't seem to get they stuff together. Everybody arguing and fighting. They making some of the most ridiculous rules and making some of the most ridiculous decisions. And you know what I'm saying? Because these people are nuts. They're fucking psychos. And I'm trying to work on my profanity and everything. And I'm trying. But it's like, it's what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? These people are nuts. A lot of our people are crazy, right? I just heard now. Let me touch on one other thing, man, because I was talking about this earlier. I did not know about this R. Kelly thing. They gave R. Kelly 30 years, allegedly. They gave Buddy 30 years, right? Now, I personally don't believe it. I personally do not believe it. You know what I'm saying? And then somebody had to put me on to the fact that they did some sort of TV show called Surviving R. Kelly or something like that, they told me. And I'm like, really? That right there let you know it's fake. It's a lot of things that they do that if you really paying attention to, you know that it's fake. Now, if he end up dead, Then maybe it won't be fake because he'll probably talk. Let's say that it's not fake and they really sacrificed him, right? Because they all in on it. You know, when they talk about Jeffrey Epstein, it's like Jeffrey Epstein ain't even the tip of the iceberg, man. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all know how many tunnels and secret rooms that they have under these hotel, not hotels, under these churches and cathedrals and shit? Do you have any idea how many underground passageways and different things like that they're using for their rituals and their sex trafficking and this, that, and the other? And what's so crazy about it is they tried to show you this in Jeepers Creepers. The first one, the very first one that they did with the one with the brother and the sister. When they was coming home for the vacation for college or whatever, didn't they show Jeepers Creepers throwing dead bodies down that drain pipe? When the brother went down the drain pipe, didn't he come out he found his way out through an entrance into the church? So in other words, he fell down the same drain pipe Jeepers Creepers was throwing dead bodies down, right? He fell down that same drain pipe and he was able to get out. He was able to get out of there and he got out through the church. And then what did Jeepers Creepers do when he found out they was on to him? He went and burnt up the church. Like, man, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, they be putting this shit right in people's face. But yeah, this dude here, man, they get this chump 30 years, man. I just don't believe it. And like I said, what sealed the deal for me was the fact that they did a TV show about this clown. You know what I'm saying? So now here's my thing, right? If it's real and they sacrificed him, then he should be singing like a bird, right? Because what's going to be the benefit of you going to prison for something that they were all in on too? If that's the case, then you got to take Hunter Biden to prison, right? Remember what happened? The FBI lost Hunter Biden's laptop, right? He's supposed to have tens of thousands of pictures, not just pictures of little kids, but pictures of little kids where he was in the pictures with them, naked and sniffing on them and touching them and sticking his tongue all in their ear and all kind of weird, creepy nonsense, right? But then all of a sudden, they mysteriously lose his laptop, right? The FBI. And I seen the little bullshit hearing that they did where they were interviewing one of the top FBI people that was supposed to have been on the case, and every question they was asking him, you know, I'm not equipped to answer that question, and you know, I don't work in that department, so I can't answer that question. And it seemed like the only questions that they were asking him was questions that they knew he couldn't answer, right? So my thing is this: I personally don't believe they sell their people down the river like that. Especially people who was knee deep in the occult, like R. Kelly, because he knee deep in the occult. Knee deep. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing like with Bill Cosby. Like how I was saying, if y'all seen that little clip of when they took him into custody in the courtroom, he came back out the front entrance of the courtroom the same way you come in, and he was in handcuffs. He had his hands up above his head so everybody could see that he was in handcuffs because he was handcuffed from the front and not from behind his back. So he was walking down the hallway with his hands above his head so the camera people could get pictures of him with the handcuffs on. And it's like how I was telling people, motherfuckers that's been to prison, people that's been taken into custody in the courtroom and the whole 9 yards, I'm telling them like, bruh, when have you ever went to court, got taken into custody, or been sitting in the courtroom and they called cases before you and they took a person into custody in the courtroom? When did you ever see them let them walk back out the same door they came in when they first came in the courtroom? That's not how that works. So you're going to tell me because it was Bill Cosby, they said, okay, you can go back out the front door? Where did they take him as he was walking down the hallway? That was the first thing that I noticed when I seen that little clip. That was the first thing I noticed. It's like, bruh, why are you walking down the main hallway of the courthouse if you're supposed to be taken into custody? They take your ass out the same door the judge comes in when he go to sit on the bench. They take you out that door. You don't go back out the front door that you came in when you first got to court. That's not how that work. And all of the so-called gangsters, all of the so-called bout it niggas and criminals and so-called chumps that's been to jail and all, they all missed that. They all slept it. And I feel the same way about the situation with R. Kelly. I really and truly do. But anyway, this is the original Lone Wolf, man. I've been on here 25 minutes. I've taken up enough of y'all time. I love y'all, man. Stay safe out there. And remember, I'm going to keep saying this till the day I die. It ain't nothing wrong with defending yourself. It ain't nothing wrong with you cracking a motherfucker's skull open to protect yourself and to save your life or the lives of your family. It's getting crazy out here, man. Much love.